This was an amazing read. I just really didn't enjoy this series. I enjoyed this so much. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to rank all the books that I've read this year from worst to best. So I think this is very fun to see. The year is almost over, so I can actually see how many books I enjoyed reading this year and how many I absolutely don't and I absolutely don't recommend. How I see how many books I've read this year is with the app Goodreads. I think many of you may know about this. It's the app Goodreads and it's amazing. Here you can also connect with each other, you can have friends and you can see who is reading which book and how far they are in this book. And I use this app for I think 2 years now and it's so nice. So I'm currently using this too, and you can update your progress with the book. For example, I was reading Fourth Wing and you can update your pages and percent of the book and then you can see how far you are with it. So you can also see how many books you've read. And I always do challenge because I think that's very fun. For this year I have a challenge to read 30 books this year and I'm right now at 27. This year is of course almost over, so I will complete this. But it's fun to see how many books you've read. I've read 27 books, so we're gonna rank them today from worst to best. If you click on a video before this one, you can see that I talked about the Throne of Glass series and I also explained how to read the series. I did a tandem read, which means combining the two books. So Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, I read them at the same time. I'm gonna get them. So these are Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. Throne of Glass is my favorite series. Tower of Dawn I absolutely did not enjoy. Because I did a tandem read, it was manageable, but if I would read this alone, I would not enjoy it. It was boring actually. And then combined with Empire of Storms, it was way more interesting. And then I was excited to read a chapter of this one again. So Tower of Dawn will, I think, end up pretty low. But Empire of Storms, I did really enjoy reading Empire of Storms because my favorite characters are in this book and in this book not. At the end of this video, I will put all the books on a row and see which one I enjoyed the most and which one I absolutely didn't, and then I will tell you my ranking. That's how we're gonna do this. Next, I read the Caraval series. Oh, this series was amazing. This is Caraval, by the way. I've read the entire series. The rest of the books are right here. I'm not gonna get all of them out of my bookshelf. I got this one last Christmas. I enjoyed Caraval so much. The writing and how the author writes, it's so nice. And I did really enjoy this book and the characters too. This one will end up pretty high, I think. It's amazing, and I've also made a lot of edits about this series, which people really enjoyed on my TikTok, so it's very cool. And then we're heading to Once Upon a Broken Heart. You read Once Upon a Broken Heart after Caraval. That's how I read it, and that's how I recommend it. Once Upon a Broken Heart, I have also read the entire series, so we'll rank these books too. Do really like this one. It's more about Jax, and Jax will also get into Caraval. You'll get introduced to Jax, and then this one is more about him. If I have to be honest, I liked Caraval more, but Once Upon a Broken Heart is also really beautiful. It's more of a love story, and this one is more like fantasy. This one's also fantasy, but this one's more, and it's just what you prefer. I mean, I like both. Next we have Powerless. It's right here. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This was an amazing read. I have never read a book so quick as I read this one, I think. I read this in 2 days, 3 days, and I mean it has 500 pages. That tells a lot. This story is beautiful between the two characters and the world, and it's written in a way that you don't want to stop reading. So this will end up really high, and I still think about Powerless to this day. I also can't wait for Fearless to come out, which will come out in April next year, which will be the last book, but it's amazing. I really recommend Powerless. So this one will also end up high, I think. I mean, I did really enjoy this one. Then I read Kingdom of Ash, which is the last book of the Throne of Glass series. Kingdom of Ash, this book took me a very long time to read, and after this book I didn't know what else to read. I mean, look how thick it is. It's super thick. It has over 1,000 pages. It's not my favorite book of the series, but it's the end, you know. It's sad. I mean, you're ending a series that you've read an entire year. But because it's so big, it's really hard to keep on reading and keeping motivated. That's what I thought about this book. Okay, then I read One Dark Window. That book was also very interesting. It's right here. This one was so interesting because I saw this book a couple of times on TikTok, and then I was like, what's this about? So I bought it. I had no idea when I started reading what this will be about. If you look at the cover, it's very mysterious and like dark aesthetic kind of book, which is also in there. You will understand. It was great. And I also read Two Twisted Crowns afterwards. So these are a duology. This is the first one, this is the second one. I've read both of them this year, and I do have to say One Dark Window I like more. Two Twisted Crowns was also good. Next we have Powerful. That's a novella from Powerless. Let's see, it's right here. Powerful is one of my saddest books I've ever read, I think, this year. Powerful is also beautiful, but so sad. Like, the ending is so sad. I don't think I've ever read a sad book this year, like not really, I think. It's like of a side character from Powerless, and I really enjoyed reading this book. Everything this author writes is a masterpiece. I'm sorry, but that's true. So I don't know where to put this in the ranking. We'll see. I'm very, very curious. Then I read The Cruel Prince. I think if you're on Book Talk, you have to know The Cruel Prince. It was so famous the past, I don't know, 3 years, I think. I only started reading it this year. I was very late to the hype, and I don't think the hype is that worthy because I did not enjoy the series. I've read the entire series. I've read them all together. Here you can see The Cruel Prince and then the rest. I just really didn't enjoy this series. It was boring for me. I had to push myself through to read it because I did pay for my book, so I obviously will finish, but I don't know. I really had high hopes for this one, and I didn't got it. It didn't got that far to top my high hopes. I think the characters are cool, but the story, I don't know. It's more like if you were younger, then you would really enjoy, I think. But I read it when I was almost 18, and I think that's too old for this book. I think it's more of a book to read when you're 14 or something. When you're younger, like if I was younger, I would have loved this book. You see, when I read a series, I first read the entire series and then I read another book. So I always read books in series. Lightlark, I got it one here, and Night Bane. I read these two next. I enjoyed this so much. It's like a little bit the same as Powerless, like the writing style and how I enjoyed it. It's amazing, and I think the author did such a great job. I think this will end up high, but I have 27 books to rank. That's so difficult to do. This is gonna take a while for me to do, but these ones are really, really good, and I do really, really recommend these. So these will also end up pretty high, I think. Divine Rivals, that one is right in the other bookshelf I have here. Divine Rivals, oh, beautiful. You see, this book is so beautiful. I enjoyed this book so much. It was like, it's just a beautiful love story between two typewriters. This one is so different than the other books I've read because I more read like, trials, Hunger Games vibes. This has also a little fantasy, but it's more romance, which is also fun. And I do really like this book. It was really, really cool. Person Healer, I also read the entire series this year. I got it for my birthday from my boyfriend. So I've read the entire series of Person Healer 2. I think Person Healer is very, very amazing, and it deserves more attention. It's not that famous on Book Talk or Instagram or whatever, but I think it deserves a lot more attention than it's getting now. This one also will end up pretty good. Then after reading the first book, Person Healer, I read Reckless. While Powerless ended, I was in shock and I didn't know what to expect, but I did not expect this. This book is another masterpiece. I think the author did such a great job. I think everything she does is a great job. So Reckless has also been really cool. I just love the entire series. I'm so happy I read them this year. So I think this one will end up also really high in my ranking. Then I read The Gilded Cage. That's the second book of the Prison Healer series. This time I didn't read the entire series in once, which I never really do, but I think I needed a break and I just wanted to read something else. So then I read The Gilded Cage, which was another great story. You continue with the same characters, so I think that was great. Then I read Ruthless Vows, which I have again in this bookshelf. This is Ruthless Vows. It's the second book of Divine Rivals, and it's absolutely another masterpiece. I really enjoyed this book. I think this one's also very cool, although I think I did enjoy Divine Rivals more. Then I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is also a series. I only read the first book yet, but this one was so good. It's like a little the same with Powerless and Lightlark. It's also with trials but then vampire. So there's vampires involved, and I don't know. I've always loved Twilight and the Vampire Diaries. So vampires are always cool to read about, right? But this book was so good, and this is gonna be so hard to rank everything. But this book was also amazing. We're almost at the end. Then I read The Blood Trader. This is The Blood Trader, which is the last book of the Prison Healer series. This one was also another great story. I was very sad at the end of Gilded Cage. The ending happened really good, and I really did enjoy this book too. The ending was really well written, and I think it was a great way to end the series. And then I read these two, which are the last books I read this year. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe and The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. These are both adorable and really nice, although I did not thought it would have like that much spice that it had. So that was a little disappointing for me because I just wanted to read a cute autumn book. Okay, so those are all the 27 books I've read this year, and now it's time for me to rank from worst to best. This will take a while, so I'm gonna get back to you in a second. Let me just get them all and organize them and see which one I like the best. My entire bookshelf is empty because I've read like half of my entire bookshelf this year. It's insane. 27 books are a lot. I have them all on my bed. So let's see how I ranked my books. This is what we're working with. This is the worst and this is the best. So let's see, I ranked The Cruel Prince as worst book because as I said, it was not my expectations. Then Tower of Dawn, then A Curse of True Love. Once Upon a Broken Heart was an amazing series, only this book just didn't top my expectations. Then Empire of Storms, and then Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After. These are the other books of A Curse for True Love. Then The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and Pumpkin Spice Cafes underneath. Then One Dark Window, Duology, and then Kingdom of Ash. Then I got here the Prison Healer series, Ruthless Vows and Divine Rivals, Powerful. Then I got the Caraval series, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, Lightlark and Nightbane, and then as best, Reckless and Powerless. So this is my entire ranking. The worst book I've read this year, actually worst books, are the Cruel Prince series. Sadly, because I really thought I would gonna enjoy the series. But yeah, this is the worst book that I've read this year. But then the best book that I've read this year is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I ranked this as the best book because of the storyline, way of writing, and the characters, and just everything together makes this book perfect. And I enjoyed reading it so much, so I'm definitely ranking this as the best books of this year. So that brings me to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and this is of course my opinion, so please don't get mad at me or anything. It's what I thought about the books, and everyone has their own opinions. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you're excited for more videos about books or whatever, then just please subscribe to my channel and like this video. That will mean a lot to me if you would do this, and I hopefully will see you in the next video. Bye bye!